Welcome, today we're reacting to Depressed Nostalgia and we're going to be watching his video on Meangirls, the problem in VTubing. And it is a pretty significant problem in the VTubing, I think. But yeah, let's go. Honestly, I haven't seen a Nosaki video in ages.
There is a saying, there is no one who hates women more than other women.
I believe that is very much true. It is a correct statement. The wisest man, Sun Tzu, was very wise for saying such things, but let's continue.
And at first glance, you might think that's very sexist, and maybe...
Oh, crap, I think I'm sexist. Oh no, oh no. But I don't think the statement is very sexist, it's very true.
It is. It's a very generalized quote, within the same realm as never ask a white supremacist the color of their girlfriend. I think both are funny, but I think both also has a bit of truth in them, especially in the fierce, mentally ill, female-dominated industry that is VTubing. See, in VTubing, there are two types of Google Docs. X-person is a sex pest,
Usually a man, yeah.
usually a man, or X-person is a bully, usually a woman.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Sounds pretty reasonable, in my opinion.
That's why mean girls are hot topic trend these days.
Actually, part 2. There's actually a segment known as 2.1. There's ex-VTuber is a bully, usually a femboy VTuber, towards another femboy VTuber, which is a subsection of this. Because it's slightly different, but similar, you know?
And while we usually want to take the sex pest allegations a lot more seriously, the mean girl allegations are a lot more fun to talk about. Because not only can we shit on the mean girl, we can also have the right to be misogynist. The idea that...
I would like to say, as a man, I believe he is not incorrect. However, I would also not like to continue this conversation because I would not like any further allegations of sexism. Yes.
Google Doc is exposing
me holding my glasses like yes, smart nerd and like a anime villain.
other creators being bullies are so common in this space is very interesting to me. In fact, it's a lot more common than the Twitch streamer culture. When it comes to the Twitch streamer sphere, I've noticed that people that don't like each other usually just don't talk to each other or
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
proactively shits on them in public. Their beef are for the world to see and consume popcorns too. In VTubing, it's a lot more hush-hush or more passive-aggressive, especially if
It's more like, hey, friend 1, you know that girl that we are friends with, friend 5, right? Yeah, we don't like her anymore, by the way. She did this, that, and that. Tell that to friend 2 and 3, by the way. And then the friend 5 is like, actually, friend 1 and 2 are... there's that and 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 tell that to friend 4 and 5. Yeah. I feel is that how like VTubing is nowadays?
from a generally respected content creator. Nobody usually wants to say anything until a Google Docie comes out, then all of a sudden, like God...
then all of a sudden, oh, I totally knew this person was such and such. Oh, yeah, that is so true. I also had this experience with such and such. And, oh, I'm also a victim of this person. Yes. Man, if I was streaming right now, that would be clip farming 101, literally.
Goddamn locusts, everyone reveals that they actually had some bad experience.
See, told you.
Or two. Everyone actually has a problem.
Yeah, everyone actually had a bad experience, even if they didn't know the person, even if they didn't even interact with the person. Oh, well, especially the ones that didn't even interact with the person, they would be like, I always knew this person was such and such a bad person. Yes, I never interacted with them once, because I already knew that they were such a bad person even before interacting or knowing about them. I'm such a supreme being.
With them. And while I understand where this silence comes from if NDAs are involved, but a lot of the time NDAs
Oh boy. I'm already coughing. Oh.
aren't actually involved, or
Honestly, it's so hot today. I'm like literally dehydrated as well.
aren't doing jack shit in these situations. I'm not saying that VTubers have more beef against each other than normal Twitch streamers, but I am saying that how they go about their beef is very unique. And one has to wonder why this is. Is it because the consequences have a splashback effect? Or is there something a little deeper? So
It's all of the let's all be friends thing. Probably. Maybe. I think. I have no bloody idea.
tried to do a little thought experiment, figure out the unique factors that makes VTubing different, and whether or not those factors would actually contribute to this very unique phenomenon. And there's really only two factors, actually three factors, that separate the regular Twitch streamer and VTuber culture.
Okay.
The inherent anonymity present in the roleplay and anime aspect, the fact that the industry is smaller, and the fact that it's dominated by women. And I've come
So I bet he came to the conclusion that 1 and 3 are actually like the very important, and especially 3, which turns out results in the way VTuber culture is.
to a conclusion that it's these very same factors that actually are the reason for the
Oh, it's even better. It's all 3 of them
bullying
combined.
epidemic. Brace yourself. This is going to be a very, very weird video. But before we continue, may I interest you in other videos not meant for the peasants to see? In that case, I'd recommend you join my channel memberships or my Patreon. We have monthly exclusive bangers in there, as well as uncensored versions of certain content, all ad-free. And
Ad-free, did he say? No bloody way.
besides, you help me keep creating bangers like these in the long term with your support. So if you have some spare change for a cup of coffee every month or something, consider giving it to me instead. Anyway, that's all. Thank you, and let's go back to the video. Okay, I am not a sexist. In fact, I'm a
I love this. Just like, chat, by the way, before I say anything, I'm not sexist, but...
paragon of anti-misogyny. Believe me, I have women that are friends. Even my roommate is a woman. Let's talk
Wow.
about the method of attack VTubers usually employ against each other. Google Duckies. As I have mentioned, a lot of rumor mongering and Google
I haven't seen one in ages. That's good, I think. I hope. Maybe I'm just missing out.
Docs that goes around men usually talk about their sex bestie behavior. The most recent big one is the case of Real Kamana, a wannabe VTuber CEO that turned out to leverage his connections, falsify or exaggerate his network to appear more authoritative and appealing to work with, and also using this perceived power to try and get under women's pants. It's very predictable, to be honest. From a sex pest freak's perspective, the logic is simple. If you want a fish, go where the fishes are. But
Very intelligent way of thinking. But then you realize it failed because you were not smart enough.
again, among VTubers themselves, it's that they're bullies or mean girls. And more often than not, a lot of victims of these mean girls are not who and what they usually depict they are. Oftentimes, from the many Google Docs that we've read through in the past years alone, especially accounting the responses against said docs, there is a concerning number of them where the authors of these docies are not the victims that they claim that they are. That they're not clean of the same hostile behaviors that they try to call out, or perhaps they omit information or exaggerate events to paint a worse picture. This is why we've gotten a little bit critical of them. Now, we're not here to talk about the flawed docky creators, but rather the nature of these dockies. And there's a trend that I've noticed. Most, if not all of these hostile behaviors are not necessarily done via public callouts and open verbal shitting on stream like what many Twitch streamers do. Instead,
Honestly, I wish they would do it like do the callouts more, you know, legit, more on stream, you know. More clip farming, you know. Less Google Docky, my personal diary of why I hate individual X.
it's a lot more subtle and insidious. A little something called relational aggression, otherwise known as social aggression. It's a type of psychological bullying where instead of physical or verbal harm that men usually employ, they instead damage a person's relationships, reputations, and platform. It usually
So what he's describing is acting like dipshit, basically.
It comes in the form of spreading false rumors, gossiping, social exclusion, or active gaslighting, among many others. It's basically the domain expansion of manipulation tactics. Now, men are very much capable of relational aggression, but women do it more, and do it.
Well, yeah, men are capable of that, but because we are men in a space that is surrounded mostly by women, well, we mean jack shit, pretty much. Yes, guys, we don't mean much. Right, so that is very inefficient, I would say. As such, what you do is verbal aggression, probably, or just don't interact. I personally have very much minimum interaction with anybody, except me commenting on the post on Twitter saying good morning, saying, oh, that's nice, saying something positive. That's all I do. Whenever I interact with people that are like people, I tend to say either saying positive, saying sarcastic, or a good morning. And that's the extent of me willing to interact with people. Because I'm not interested in going any further than that.
Slightly more aggressively. Studies have shown that more often than not, women actually employ this behavior. Though I should let you know for the sake of good faith that a lot of the research about this also recognize that other factors may impact the results of these studies, such as home life, school environment, and peers.
Okay.
Ages are also wide, ranging from age 7 to college years. Some studies also suggest that there's no real difference, but there are a lot more studies suggesting that it does, especially in their adolescence. In fact, VTubing itself should be a case study in of itself on this specific topic. In any case, let's break.
Anybody doing psychology? I believe that would be a very important piece of educational material or a essay material that you could do, you know? Publish it in the... What's the name of the thing? In the... I actually forgot what... God damn it. I'm gonna be like sounding like I'm gonna be squeaking. I'm gonna be going through puberty once again. No, but like, what was the thing called? Let's just call it the magical paper of psychological essays or whatever the hell it is. Oh yeah, you should publish it in that, you know.
Down why VTubing is like this. Again, there are 3 factors that make this a common trend in the industry, starting with the fact that VTubing is smaller. In a small pond, there can really only be so much food for the big fishes to eat. One of the minor issues are of the character design mixing. In terms of aesthetics, design elements that have a universal appeal are few and far between, and can leave a smaller pool of combinations for VTubers to want to use, whether they like it themselves.
That's why big bazongas. Big bazongas, you know?
Or because they think it's the best business trend. And because multiple VTubers use these design limits, they will look at other people having the same and fucking resent them. Seriously, something that petty is a legit excuse for even a big VTuber to get upset. The most notorious example I can think of is legit the Silverveil, Spite, and Cinder situation, where it turns out Silverveil's audience and Silver herself, allegedly, did not like Cinder for having formerly the same design elements to a point of being allegedly harassed by said fans. Cinder, in turn, and failing the generational trauma check, also did not like Spite for having the same design elements. A smaller case would be Powder blasting this VTuber Lily for copycatting their white-haired Violet Elf design.
And then you have me using a free model that actually, not free model, you can buy it. It's not free, you can buy it. But it's literally the same. It's literally saying that you can literally like have this model. So yeah, and so there's like probably 50 more versions of this guy, of this white hair guy with green eyes and glasses. Or well, you can turn it off and have red eyes. Or this, I think there's actually another mode with another eye color for this guy here. I don't remember.
People will lambast at other people for looking similar to each other. Small indies tend to do this a lot more than others though. But at the same time, maybe there is some kind of olive branch I can extend to the people that do get copied or do copy. Because look at me, I'm literally named Depressed Nusagi. Even if it was supposed to just be a placeholder, I took that fucking name because I was Pecora's goonest soldier. And I took massive
He was so OG. He was the goonest of them all.
inspirations from Omega Alpha because she embodied everything I liked from a character design perspective and aesthetic. So I'm not necessarily guilt-free from this. But again, this is just minor. In the grand scheme of things, the copycat issue is a unique culture thing, but nothing that I would constitute as a problematic part of the industry. The bigger issue, actually, is that because the industry is smaller, it becomes a much more focused and tenser, connection-oriented space, where these connections become one of your most important assets, sometimes more so than your numbers. But it's a fragile and fickle thing. You can be a nexus of VTubers in one day, then a radiation-heavy zone in the next. Both private and public perception can affect this network, affect what groups you are able to interact with, as well as access to sponsors and resources. What this means is that
my favorite part of VTubing. Oh, actually, you cannot be sponsored by this certain company because the people that are already sponsored by this certain company hate you. Fantastic. Capitalism.
if you are not well liked publicly or behind the scenes, or have a fair share of drama on your ass that a particular group in the right spaces may not like, you are effectively barred from certain opportunities. This can be because you may not align with the girlies, or because you're a lolly, or because you've unknowingly upset someone higher in the food chain. You'll never be disappointed with how humans react when they get power. While there is that
Wow, humans with power. Have you heard of those? Biggest pieces of shit that ever exist, right? Right.
0.01% of people that will remain humble or largely resistant to abusing that power.
Honestly, I love the fact that I can just have him talk, right? Turn off my microphone, open up my giant ass bottle of cola and be like sip, 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 and be back to chatting.
The gambling man will always win if they bet that they would, in some sort of way. And when the space is connections-oriented, people, groups, and companies may not be inclined to take people in just because they...
Honestly, I wonder if... Okay, hear me out. Imagine this. You get, kicked out from, certain opportunities, and then you outgrow the person that literally kicked you out from the certain opportunities, and the people that actually manage those certain opportunities contact you. And you're going to be like, oh, why didn't you contact me before that? What was I too small back then? You had much smaller creators than I. And they would be like, actually, there was a certain individual that didn't like you. And you would be like, who is it? And you'd be like, oh, if you want a sponsorship with me, well, you have to kick out that person. So, deal. And then they will be like, oh, let's calculate the money.
Have big numbers. While this is a problem not unique to VTubing, connections and friends in the right places kind of thing, as it happens in any subsect of the entertainment industry, the unique factors of the space amplify and compound on the matter. Again, space dominated by mentally ill women with mentally ill male fans.
Honestly, the fact that the fact that in the big 2026, I've been into VTubing since 2020. That's 6 years. The description of a entertainment industry dominated by mentally ill women and mentally ill men, well, viewed by mentally ill men, it's such a perfect description of VTubing in the big 2026 that I'm actually impressed that he did actually I wouldn't say that, but he did. Well, no, I did say that, but that is literally the perfect description of the current state of VTubing.
People will find it easy to use the power dynamic to, for example, rob people of opportunities to take for themselves or for their own groups. Call in a favor from a powerful figure to do a little something against someone and make it so that...
Friend, there is this person I don't like. Can we kick them out from ever coming to... The big VTuber event. Please. Oh my Like, I bet there was this sort of conversation once at some point, and it ended up being like, yes, buddy, we sure can.
It's not connectable to them. And for the victim, it'll hurt even more. Sometimes, you wouldn't even notice that opportunities aren't going your way anymore.
Well, yeah, you would be like, why the fuck am I missing out upon things? I have no idea. It's just like, what nobody was interacting with me, and you're gonna be like, oh, they said a bunch of shit about me. I personally feel that, like, if thinking that all of the people think about you negatively straight away, well, it is very negative of you. It's probably the best thing you can imagine in social media space. It's like, I have no allies, I am my only ally, or everybody else hates me. Let's do the thing.
You'll probably have a mental breakdown first on why acquaintances are no longer speaking with you before you even find out. This is not the only harm that comes from the space being smaller. It's also the dark side of competition. I've mentioned in my video talking about why VTubing has become so negative.
Sorry for coughing.
That the desperation that people feel to grow or maintain their size is a big part of the reason why they do things that can be seen as divisive or volatile. That when competition becomes fiercer, people are going to be willing to do less than nice things to others to get to the top, which can include a lot of the relational aggression and backstabbing.
See, the technical way you put it, okay, so let me explain this to you. What you do is, you're a VTuber. You collaborate with other VTubers to get their audience, right? That increases your audience. You get exposure to bigger creators, which you can potentially collab with, and you take their audience. And then you do that again and again and again until you get to, like, the heights of, like, let's say 1,000, like around 1,000, like maybe between 600 and 1,000 viewers, right? At that point, you are pretty high in the food chain, and you are doing fine for yourself, you know?
Tactics I've mentioned earlier, especially if they see a window where it'll be active. But what I didn't mention in that video, because I was saving it for this one, is that the more intelligent variants of these mean girls go about their desperation and insecurity very intelligently. Sometimes, all that trust and venting that you've given to a VTuber can easily get used against you. They'll pretend to be your friend, faking concern for your well-being and advising you to do something that actually works against you, but framing it as positive and manipulating you to think.
Wait. Oh, yeah, you should do that. Go, girl power. That sort of thing, you know. Whenever you hear that, you need to think twice. And I do mean it twice. Because one, they could be sabotaging you. Two, they might just be a hype man. Three, it actually might be a good idea, you know? Like, those are the three options that could happen, you know?
That it's a good thing. Like what this fucker Ian did in the Obsession movie. And you best be aware of this when it comes from peers that you have some kind of similarity to or share the exact type of audience with.
Yep.
And whales. We've seen.
Yep. Whenever somebody comes and says, oh, actually, we share that we have similar audience, by the way, do you want to collab? Your ass in danger. Your ass might be in danger. Also, Ancient Valorant. Remember when this was Valorant, by the way? Remember when we only had 2 types of shield, 2 types of sniper rifle? We had one less type of one less type of gun, you know?
This kind of VTuber on VTuber violence happen a lot, especially on the medium and big Twitch indie side. Notoriously, the Cindergate situation. And believe me, it's not a very uncommon thing to do. Insecurity, envy, or some manner of ego-related hostility is so common in this industry. And often, that's all it takes for a person you've considered a friend to lie to you, turn on you, and manipulate you whether they realize it or not. And the absolute worst thing they can do to you, beyond the rumor mongering and the relational aggression, is an open attempt on your very career. Again, I have to emphasize, VTubing is small. So any medium to large scale cancellation attempt is going to be seen by anyone that aren't Hololive or Nijisanji only viewers. Even if they're a different type of audience, or that they only know the rough details, it's still enough to form a negative impression on you and thus affect your brand negatively. Of course, the obvious example of this is the Saikuno and the Cindergate situation again, which most people see not as warnings that the authors say it is, but actual exposés. Attempts on people's career, a brutal punishment and sentencing that most likely does not actually fit their crimes. And while we can argue all we want about who was in the right or who was in the wrong in both situations, I've made 2 videos about these topics already, the ultimate point here is that even flawed attempts are more than enough to form a negative impression on your brand. It's more than enough to irrevocably sever huge chunks of your network and your friendships, even if you somehow maintain your audiences or your numbers. And while yes, this does carry a risk for the accuser's credibility, the truth is, whatever repercussion they'll face for a flawed attempt isn't going to be commensurate. In the streaming and entertainment industry, whoever strikes first usually has the upper hand, usually gets seen more, and usually gets, you know, more favors. That's just how people are.
Yeah, sounds about right. And that's why you can wipe my ass literally like out of the internet in seconds, because I'm like, oh, you say that? Who told you? I never fucking interacted with you. What do you mean? Do you have screenshots? Probably not. Oh, by the way, those. Oh, generated by AI. Yeah, sure. Go fuck yourself. That's actually how like me defending myself would go, basically. Like, that's why I want to keep my policy of not interacting properly with people. It's like the moment you start interacting with people is the moment you can literally you're gonna go down the rabbit hole of collabs. That's one thing, or go down the rabbit hole of you're gonna say one bad thing and it's going to randomly cause your demise, basically.
Most people would rather.
So that's why I want to say. That's why I want to cause my demise publicly by saying things on videos. Smart.
Be told who the enemy is rather than figure things out for themselves.
Yeah.
After all, that's not what they came here for. And in this space, often the bully can wield more power, whether that be because more people are willing to ignore it due to their sheer size and clout.
Yeah. When you're big, sizable, when you hit, it's gonna hit something. It's probably not going to wipe anybody out, but because like, you know, or sometimes it does wipe people out because they're gonna be like, oh fuck this persona here now. Let me move on to another persona later on, you know.
Fearing them, or because they'd rather believe that their Oshi/friend is a saint or something, right? By the way, that in of itself is a huge fucking problem. VTuber fans are incredibly easily manipulated. I'm gonna get into that later.
I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? Like, they are the types of person. Okay, the average VTuber fan that I think of, right, is the type of person that watches female VTubers, and when female VTubers says something like slightly lewd, they throw a tip of $100 at them. And that's what, like, that's the lowest common denominator when I think of, like, you know, a average VTuber fan, basically. Another type of average VTuber fan is someone from Southeast Asia, and there's, like, based. There's another type of, like, VTuber fan that exists. I like the people that come from Southeast Asia more than I like the people that come from America and Europe, probably, to be honest. And the thing is, they don't tend to watch male VTubers, the ones from, like, you know, Southeast Asia, from what I remember. But they also tend to be more based. That's like the general opinion I have of them, you know.
VTubing really is no different than a high school setting. With a bunch of guys fawning, clawing, and fighting for girls, it's just the kind of space.
Yeah, they are either fighting for girls or fighting for each other. Literally.
That naturally forms when the major players are the way that they are. So that's one aspect of the mean girl problem in VTubing, the mean part. Now let's get to the girl part.
Oh boy. Wait again. We are not misogynistic. I need him to say that.
Girl's girl is a woman who genuinely supports, celebrates, and stands.
Oh yes. The go girl, you are doing so great. Yes. Girl power. Yay.
By other women. In Hololive, we see such powerful examples of this because Hololive actually does a good job picking up women that aren't goddamn petty, starts drama, or schizo tirades. Their management also being proactively preventative also helps. What's that meme? Women are more likable under oppressive moral codes or something? And while it's funny, it's not necessarily true. It's not the reason why Hololive VTubers seem more professional. But there's a reason why even this sentiment, if only just more nuanced or worded more accurately, is a sentiment that many fans may low-key agree. Because in the indie side of things, these measures are not available. It's often up to the girls' own professionalism and personalities to keep themselves in check. Not just in public, but also in private. So what happens when a bitch is not self-aware that she's a bitch, or knows that she's a bitch but wants to say not to be? Well, that's where women use their curse technique called emotional manipulation.
Wait, why?
I brought up the whole
Okay. Emotional manipulation, the most powerful tool that got invented for women to use, pretty much.
relational aggression thing earlier, and now this concept of being a girl's girl, because I wanted to make a point that a lot of VTubers mask being like these to really sabotage or plan something backstabby. Sometimes, they even use therapy speak to attempt to manipulate or confuse the public and their victims. And I think this happens a little way too much. Yakireso is a very notorious example of this, a person that uses relational aggression to coerce people, which even included their own roommate/editor, and also their friend Deputy Aru to doing what they want. Gossiping, manipulating, and a whole lot of typical bitch behavior, and she was one of the rising stars. People genuinely liked her. She only got caught because she was stupid, to be honest. Sisterhood and solidarity in the form of collabs and shoutouts are easily used as a guise under competition. Attempts to steal viewers and whales, especially if they start DMing said whales. I know who you are. They attempt to integrate themselves like a lamprey into a friend group or other people's events to broadcast or promote themselves. Because when you think about it, VTubing is the prime environment for this bitchy backstabby behavior. A place with low accountability but high visibility. An anonymous place where the tools are easily accessible to spread some bullshit. And a space that also gets you a simping, almost retardedly loyal audience. In a space like this, the smartest manipulators can stand toe-to-toe in terms.
Honestly, yeah. VTubing tends to be like a shonen anime where you have like the anime girls fighting for like the... for you, chud. They're fighting for the chuds, literally, pretty much. They're fighting every day for the chuds and the whales to, so you know they need the whales to get like financial support. They need the chuds to like feel validated and have like bunch of like viewers basically. And it's like fighting like it's a freaking Death Note style maybe like a non-battle shown kind of thing Honestly, it's weird environment. And then there's also like the other side of the coin where it's like the gay stuff and the fujoshi stuff. Honestly, like I sometimes when you think about male VTubers, I would like compare male VTubers like the hosts at a host club in Japan, basically. Like I do think that might be like the vibe I get from watching some types of male VTubers, pretty much. Yeah.
Of reach and clout with the most genuine creators, to a point that we wouldn't even necessarily know or will realize too late who it is. All of this is then lastly multiplied by the fact that VTubing is a roleplay heavy scene. Anonymity, an inherent side effect of anime roleplaying, can be weaponized. Mean girls are able to get away with it if they get caught once. Start an entirely new brand with a separate friend group. Maybe have your voice be an octave lower and get used to it so you don't get caught or some bullshit. It's just way too easy. People like Cha-Cha Chela, aka Bunny Alisu, is very notorious for this, undergoing multiple personas every time she gets caught in a bad situation. Gunpai is a—
See, told you. You can just like get out, brand new account, start fresh.
Even more notorious example, a mentally ill GFE VTuber who is all sorts of insane. And more recently, this girl Sumi, who recently got into a controversy for bitching and whining about why Shy Lily blocked her, notoriously having 18+ account name changes to dodge past controversy, and also had a major allegation under her belt, such as harassing other content creators.
Wow.
for copying her and copying people herself. Their infamous deeds are covered by other channels, so I suggest you view
Honestly, if YouTube can like hear my coughs, I think that's like a perfect way of identifying that I'm not an AI.
those. These are negative byproducts of the industry's
Yep.
roleplay heaviness and the anonymity that goes along with it. Whereas it's easy to hold IRL streamers accountable for bullshit that they did, or easily track and warn people about them when they try to do a comeback or rebrand, in VTubing, it's a lot more difficult. Because not everyone pays attention to everyone, and people have a memory of a goldfish. And I think people start
That is very true. I completely forgot about the Cinder situation until like watching this video.
started getting tired of all of this mean girl drama and bitchy behavior because of the Cindergate situation. That drama was a nuke. Even after the explosion had settled, the radiation still remained 1 year later. I think the number of people involved in that drama, the sheer pettiness displayed that respected indies and supposed professionals, and the kind of information we shouldn't have known about as audiences, really disillusioned a lot of people, regardless on whether you were Team Cinder or Team Shylily, because it was a situation where low-key everyone kinda sucked. A lot of people did not need to involve themselves in that shit flinging, and why a lot of fan bases of the entire scene were also taking part of this some holy crusade in the name of
Holy crusade. That's like a funny comparison, honestly.
their anime women. I know and agree that we should hold people accountable here,
Yeah.
but holy fuck. I say it's radioactive because it didn't just affect the fan bases and the
It made the whole goddamn thing more toxic. I do agree with that, honestly. I do agree with the fact that the whole thing literally made the whole the whole VTubing environment more toxic in a way. Like, I mean, the place was already toxic back then. Like, the explosion just made it even more toxic.
VTubers that were involved in that drama, it spread throughout the mainstream, spreading the miasma of doubt, planting a seed of criticality against any and all VTubers that they may not be as professional, smart, and good-willed as they paint themselves to be. Google Dockies were long recognized before as a mainstay, but was really only solidified as a cultural phenomenon in the industry because of this drama. To me, it's okay if my Oshi is not wholesome or smart or is not a good role model. It's not your job to be a good role model as a content creator. It's to entertain. People shouldn't look up to any VTubers as paragons of goodwill, but they want to be for some reason. Or perhaps not. Perhaps it's not them that wants to be seen that way, but the fans insist that they do. Fans that glaze their Oshis a little too hard, paint an exaggerated picture of sainthood that only a true simp is able to do. That they are where they are because they are good people. They deserve to be where they are because of their character. Putting them in a
I personally think whenever you have like content creators and whenever someone says they deserve to be there, they're great, I think like, oh no, they deserve to be there because they got somehow lucky and they are somewhat entertaining. Like, they do deserve to be there, but for a completely different reason. Mostly because they got lucky.
pedestal that makes them seem uncritiquable, using their disability, their mental illness, or gender or minority status to deflect criticism. And maybe
Can I use my minority status to deflect criticism, chat? Viewers, people, YouTube viewers, anybody, can I use it as to deflect criticism?
that's the ultimate reason why there's so many mean girls. Beyond the faults of the VTubers in the industry itself, maybe it's because of us too. Maybe it's because, as fans, we enabled this. People
Yeah, I mean, I'm not at fault. Nosagi might not be at fault. You, Random Chud 69, might not be at fault, maybe. You, Mr. Whale 76, might also not be at fault. You might be spending money wisely. But I don't know, there's probably a bunch of people that are literally at fault for whatever the hell is going on, pretty much.
would rather defend them if they make mistakes rather than provide even constructive criticism. And
Constructive criticism in 2026 sounds misogynistic to me.
such a hug-boxy space only encourages bad actors to provide criticism that is far from constructive. People would rather flatter their ego and validate emotions or actions that shouldn't have been. People would rather protect their platform, not their integrity. people have simped too much. Our favorite
the phrase, I honestly, he should have literally put like, you know, big red text with a white border surrounding it, like, you know, yeah, right, saying Sims are at fault.
VTubers come from all walks of life. Nerds who got bullied for being a nerd, bullies who picked in high school, normal people who just found the concept interesting, disabled or physically/mentally ill people who saw VTubing as a viable career path. All these walks can eventually develop the kind of mean girly behavior that we've seen over the years. Some more than others, sure, but we have seen disabled VTubers be a mean girl. We have seen normal people who get corrupted and let their ego take over. We have seen bullies who got worse. We have seen nerds become the very thing that they used to hate.
Yeah.
It ties back to what I said in the middle of this video. You'll never be disappointed with how humans react when they get power.
Yeah, that's very much true. Whenever you have power, you got ego up. Literally, it gets to your ego. Like, the worst part about people is ego. At the same time, without ego, we wouldn't be going anywhere, pretty much. Which is kind of disappointing.
So perhaps it's our reaction that we also may need to look out for when we see these behaviors. We need to be gentle yet firm, constructive yet critical, loving in a way that will also
No, we don't have to be loving, we have to be hating yet respectful.
ground our Oshi to the earth. The kind of affection
Okay.
that cares about how they are rather than who they are.
Bro. Oh, I actually paused like before it ended. Good that he had like a couple of seconds of like, you know, black screen. Honestly, with me coughing and literally dying midway through the video, actually from the start of the video, I'm maybe feeling slightly better now, but whatever. This was honestly watching Nostalgia after ages, and I do mean ages. It's quite, you know, quite a thing. Also, my model probably glitched out like halfway through the video. Also, how much did they make? Yeah, I doubled the time. My yapping doubled. Great. My yapping and coughing, actually. Yapping and coughing doubled, you know? Whatever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you thought. And if you have any recommendations, well, leave them. You can tell them in the comment section. You should also check out Nosagi's video. You should watch it yourself because, obviously, you should watch it yourself. And I'm going to actually leave a like. See you another time, and goodbye.